Hello folks, Phil Gallagher of ThrabenU here for another modern video. Do you remember that legacy Landfall deck I played? We're porting it to modern. And a big shout out to Diogo for this deck list. They built this deck list for their girlfriend in sort of a cute story where their girlfriend got into Magic through Arena, and there was sort of like an Arena precon type thing on there, and she really enjoyed the Landfall mechanic. So Diogo went and kind of started working on a modern equivalent of the deck so that they could play together. Essentially, I'm going to play the deck that they submitted with very few changes. In case you're not familiar with the Landfall mechanic, there are a number of creatures in this deck that get larger whenever a land is played. And fetch lands count as 2, because something like an Arid Mesa hits play, and then you fetch up something like a mountain, and so Landfall triggers twice. We have Steppe Lynx, Akum Hellhound, Bladed Geopede, and Brushfire Elemental as our landfall creatures. And then as a bonus, we get Skyclave Pickaxe, which also has that +2/+2 landfall ability. So what's neat about the modern version is that Wrenn and 6 is still legal in modern. Come here, you big beautiful tree. So Wrenn and 6 is really obnoxious with fetch lands. It was so obnoxious that it was just absolutely banned in Legacy. So Wrenn and 6 is going to allow us to continue to plus our loyalty while making landfall every single turn and doing some rather silly things with that. I made very few changes from the original deck list. I need to look up the name of this card. Brought Back. And I'll pull this one up real quick because it's interesting. So the original deck, I can spell, don't worry about me. The original version of the deck list that was submitted had 2 or 3 copies of Brought Back, which you choose up to 2 target permanent cards in your graveyard that were put there from the battlefield this turn and return them to the battlefield tapped. The idea is that you can like fetch, trigger landfall twice, cast Brought Back, trigger landfall 2 times more. But I thought that this was just like not going to line up and happen well for a couple of different reasons. Number one, you need 2 permanents in your graveyard that were put there from the graveyard this turn, which unless you like held mana up into a known sweeper or you were like sitting on multiple fetch lands is somewhat unlikely to happen. And number 2, this is a white card in a 3-color deck that you want to play relatively early. I was just kind of on the fence about that card. Number 2, this deck played Groundswell, which is a landfall pump spell that gives +4/+4 if you have landfall. Which, while that was neat, I was super impressed by Scale Up when I was playing the Legacy version of the deck, because this is essentially a 5 power increase for 1 mana. It's a little different than Groundswell, but I think this is better most of the time. It's just a really powerful turn 2 play, for example. Like, turn 1, play an idiot. Turn 2, fetch, scale up. You know, you're going to hit for 10 or so damage. It's pretty gross. Other than that, I'm going to keep the 75 as is. There's a couple of things that are sort of weird. Like, is it correct to have a split of Path to Exile and Lightning Bolt versus just having 4 Lightning Bolts? Unsure. And this is, I would call it a fun of if there was more than one of them. But all right, words are hard today. This is sort of our fun of in the deck. Dire Strain Rampage. So you destroy target artifact, enchantment, or land. If a land was destroyed, its controller can search for up to 2 basic lands and put them onto the battlefield and then shuffle. Otherwise, they only get 1 basic land. So this is a card that you can use to destroy one of your own lands and trigger landfall twice for 3 mana, which when you have more than 1 creature, that ends up being a pretty good amount of power. It also has flashback, meaning that you can do it again the following turn. That's kind of cool. I have a feeling that this card is a little bit too slow and my opponent's going to be dead most of the time before this happens. And I thought about changing these out for just 2 more lightning bolts, but you know, the people are here for the crazy stuff, and this is definitely it. This is going to be one of those cards that is either going to be awesome or dead in my hand, and I don't know which one it's going to be. The other thing that's really cool about this deck that differentiates it from the Legacy version is that you get to play Lurrus. And one of the issues with the Legacy version of the deck was once your opponent started pulling ahead, you started falling behind, like once the board was stabilized, it was hard to get those last couple of points of damage in. But if you have Lurrus and you can just start replaying all of your idiots from the graveyard, that ends up being pretty scary. And I just want to remind you of the text of Lurrus. This allows you to cast a permanent card, right? You can recast something like a Wrenn in 6. It's a rather obnoxious combination that I'm looking forward to a lot. The sideboard isn't overly exciting. We have some Cleansing Wildfires, which can be used to trigger Landfall, or maybe destroy some Tron lands or something of that nature. And then just the generic suite of a little bit of Graveyard Hate, a little bit of life gain, a little bit of artifact destruction, and some removal. I'm super excited to try this one out. I had an absolute blast playing the Legacy version of this deck, and I think this one is going to be sweet. Before we get started, please consider throwing me a like. It's the easiest way to support my content for free. And if you end up wanting to try this deck out or get one of your own decks on the channel, that's available in the video description. I also feel obligated to tell you that I have a podcast, the Eternal Glory Podcast, where I talk about more Magic. People say I don't plug that enough, so there it is. I plugged the podcast. Let's battle. Okay, so my opponent has revealed a Gigantha. I don't know exactly what that means for me. This hand doesn't have a 1-drop. It has 2 2-drops. I'm not sure if this is fast enough when I'm on the play. I think I can get another hand of roughly this caliber. I think I'm gonna go ahead and just mulligan. I'd like to get that early early damage Batman. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is throw back this 3-drop that's not gonna be castable. I actually don't have a second land here. I'll have 22 lands to hit. I probably don't go to 5 here. But without the second land, this is a little sketch. Do I go to 5? Like, there's a world where I just fetch, play a 0-1, play a 0-1, and get stuck. Alright, maybe I go to 5. This deck should be fast and efficient as hell. Okay, yeah, this is the best hand so far. So I will probably just get rid of this Lightning Bolt. Get rid of the Hellhound, keep the lands. Sure, let's go with that. Yeah, because the lands contribute to things like Lurrus as well. Alright. I could probably spend a long time thinking about which land to get here. But I'm just gonna grab a Sacred Foundry and call that good. I have some minor concerns about the mana base. Just in terms of stability, because there's something crazy like 6 or 7 basics in this 3-color list. Ooh, so we were playing against some sort of affinity deck. Ooh, I drew another Hellhound. I think I'm going to use my mana inefficiently here. I think I'm just going to go ahead and play a Hellhound. Is that true? Yeah, this Hellhound and the Brushfire Elemental can both attack next turn. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do this. I just get this into play so this can attack. I'll play this Forest this turn. And then next turn, I will play Brushfire Elemental off these 2 lands and then fetch and be swinging in for, what, 12-ish damage? Or no, more than that. No, 12. Oh, 13. Alright. Make them big. And turn them sideways. So we're on a pretty big mulligan here. But I am going to just have a turn 4 Goldfish, I think? Alright, and Urza's Saga. In a lot of cases, that's just going to be too slow to matter. We'll see what they can do afterwards. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. I can still play a 2-drop. Okay, yeah, I mean, what would I name in their position? I'd probably name, like, Skyclave Pickaxe in their position. They could also hit a random fetch land, yeah. That's what they've done. Ooh, okay. I mean, that's a lot. A lot of stuff. More? Nope, not more. Okay, great. I'm very glad they didn't hit Windswept Heath randomly. I'll do this. Play my land. I'll yield to all of these. I will crash in. And my opponent is not going to chump block. At which point we'll go ahead and do this. I'll probably pick up a Temple Garden tapped. Will not pay the life. Oh, beautiful, beautiful triggers. Oh god, that's so much damage. And a lot of it is not going to be blockable next turn to boot. Well, I guess this can be blocked by the Urza's Saga Construct token, which will be pretty big. Okay, yeah. Opponent is forced on the defensive here. Yeah, so I'll just play a land, attack in, play a Lurrus and potentially just like replay something from the graveyard. Like I might potentially lose one of these or something. And then I just have like Lurrus plus replay it. You just like fetch like a mountain or something off of this. Alright. So there's my first set of triggers. And my creatures are bigger. And this will do a decent amount of damage to my opponent, either literally or metaphorically. What's the activated ability on this? You can sacrifice it to gain some life, sure. Alright, so that is a 6/6 base. I am going to kill that. My opponent will probably block it on Brushfire Elemental to kill it. Oh, okay. Alright, so my opponent seems unsure about their block. Okay, yeah, they figured that out. Okay. I will go ahead and put them to 1. And I'm going to lose the Brushfire Elemental, which I can't replay this turn. That's fine. That just means I can play a tapped land here. I don't know, pull up Stomping Ground out of the deck or something. I don't need to pay the life. Beautiful, beautiful Landfall. So the way this works here is I'm going to put my opponent to 1. I'm going to kill this Memnite, and then that is going to end up shrinking my opponent's creatures. Oh, right. New companion rule. I have to put the Lurrus in my hand this turn. I can't just immediately replay it. That's fine. I still have a lot of damage next turn, and then I just like play Lurrus and a new Brushfire Elemental. I think I'm going to be okay at getting over the edge here. We'll see. Things get weird with like a... I don't know. Retrofitter Foundry is not legal in this format. Shadowspear is. Okay. That's a problem, actually. Ooh. Things got real. The Shadowspear equipped on that Construct token means it's very hard for me to attack in. So I can draw like a Lightning Bolt or a Path to Exile or something. Oh, I might lose this one. Shit. A Tarkus Command. This is 3 damage to an opponent? Oh my god. Yep. 3 damage to each opponent. I thought this is a choose 2. Oh, I see. Your opponents can't gain life this turn. 3 damage to them. That sounds good. Yeah, that's what burn spells are for. Woo! There we go. GG's. Okay, so we definitely have Shadowspear to worry about. So I would like some amount of removal boarded in. Smash, Path, Lightning Bolt, and Wear Tears all sound good. These will probably come out just for being slow. From there, it's a little harder. Bladed Geopede's first strike is interesting. Like, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to like that or not. Because sometimes my opponent is just going to have Urza Saga construct tokens that are just larger than that anyway. I do kind of consider it the worst one. What are all the modes of a Tarkus Command? It's put a land into play, can't gain life, 3 damage, and a mini Anthem effect. Maybe I trim some of these. Like, I know it just won me that game. But maybe I trim some of these. Like, maybe do like 2 Plated Geopedes out, 2 Atarka's Commands out, or something like that. I don't know, the Atarka's Command is a lot of damage. Leaves me with 14 creatures. I don't know, I have a lot of non-creature spells. Maybe I just cut all of those. Like, I know it just won me the game. But I think it's going to be pretty hard to set up a situation where, like, I do the 3 damage and prevent my opponent from gaining, say, 6 life via a Shadowspear. I think that's going to be kind of hard to set up successfully and, like, actually do, given that I'm going to, like, tap out a bunch of the time. So we'll see how this feels. The game on the draw is definitely scarier than the game on the play, though. That's for sure. I will reveal my beautiful friend Lurrus. I feel like this hand is too slow. I just really want a 1-drop with this deck. I have a lot of them. I also have to fetch to get red. Oh no, I don't have to fetch to get red. I have to shock to get red or play Sacred Foundry tapped on 1. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not in love with this. Let's find better. Get white, green on turn 1. Get Wrenn and 6 on turn 2. Have multiple removal spells and land drops forever. Absolutely. All right, do I throw back a Path or a Scale Up? I think I throw back the Scale Up. I think I'm going to play a control role this game. Like, just kind of given the texture of this hand, and that's not something that I was necessarily expecting to do regularly. Oh, my opponent has gone down to 5 cards as well. Okay. Yeah, do your thing. Different art Memnites. Fair. Okay. I believe that I'm just going to Path to Exile a Signal Pest and try to keep the board as clear as I can rather than playing out this Steppe Lynx. So let's fetch. I'm going to shock for a Temple Garden. And then I think in my opponent's draw step, I'm just going to path the Signal Pest. I'm guessing my opponent is not playing any basic lands, but you never know. So let's junk this and see if I'm right. Okay, they do have a basic island. I'm going to take 2 in combat here. And then I'm going to use Wrenn and 6 to ping one of these down. Fantastic. Obviously, we will go for the one with the bad art first. Okay, not bad art. I like this art better. This extended border is sweet. I don't actually think this art is bad. Like, this is super iconic to me. Scars is definitely one of the sets that I have drafted the most. Because that was, like, the first Magic set that I drafted. That was about the time that I started playing. I started playing the summer before Scars came out. Silver Bluff Bridge. Okay. That's a blue-red one of those. Sure. Okay. The Wrenn and 6. How do I want to do this? I can just path that Memnite. Do I want to plus and get an Arid Mesa? Yeah. Like, I can do this. I can plus grab an Arid Mesa. Just kind of leave it hovering in play. And then if my opponent attacks in, I can just block and fetch. Or I can just say, like, the heck with this. And just, like, play this creature out. And then not worry about ever removing the Memnite. No, I think I like taking this thing off the table. Like, the counts for Metalcraft definitely matter. And this way I can also potentially leave up, like, Path to Exile mana. Okay, Frogmite is fine. What's next? That is probably going to get Path to Exiled simply because it flies. Okay, no attack from the opponent, which means I can just save this fetch land for later. Unless I want to use my mana now, which I honestly kind of do. I don't super want to shock myself here, so I think I'm just going to grab a Plains. That's not my ideal land by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm good with it. Okay, so they do just have the 1 basic. Another fetch land is totally legit. Alright, so I'll do this. I'll ping the Memnite. I will play this fetch land. Then I'll attack for 2. And I'm just going to hold the same play pattern as I did previously of holding this land up so that I can protect my Planeswalker. I could just, like, plan on chump blocking with this, though. I don't think I like that. Like, I could intend on chump blocking with this and put the Lurrus in my hand. What is this? Okay. Sacrifice it, make some treasure tokens. Sure. That can get weird with construct tokens, I guess. Okay, Signal Pest is fine. In theory, I would like to become the aggressor soon before something scary happens. But, like, Signal Pest can't be blocked by stuff except flying. So that's not great for me. Alright, my opponent is kind of slowly pulling ahead here. We'll see what I can do. Alright, more land. This is just the point where I have to, like, let my Planeswalker go and go on the offensive. This may just be the turn where I try to do a crap ton of damage and let my Planeswalker go and try to race my opponent. Yeah, I think I'm okay with that. Let's ping and kill the Signal Pest. I'll play a Wooded Foothills, re-yield to these. I'll swing in with both of these and see if my opponent blocks any. I do not. So I will fetch twice. Don't need to shock here. There's another +2/+2 on each of those. And I guess I'll grab, like, a Stomping Ground here. I have green, I have white. I don't have red yet. Yeah, so either one of these is fine. Grab a Stomping Ground. Won't shock. I'll hit my opponent for 12 and put them to 6. And I will put this in my hand. I guess there's a world where I could die. Oh, I didn't do Treasure Vault math. Plus Cranial Plating equip. Yeah, I hope I didn't kill myself doing that. Yeah. Sure did. Oops. I'll take 13 there. I guess I could have attacked with 1, held 1 back, and then went the Lurrus route. Yeah, I just messed that one up. I didn't actually do that math. Didn't think they had that many artifacts. Oh, right, the dual lands are also artifacts. Yeah, those ones don't see play in Legacy. I'm not super familiar with those. All right, that was just on me. I just punted that one. Yeah, full disclosure, I'm going out of town this weekend for the second weekend in a row, and I have lost a lot of recording time. You notice a lot of leagues this week with quick decks. There's a reason for that. I will absolutely keep this hand. I can actually be the aggressor with a hand that looks like this, I think. I need to lead on these stomping grounds to do the things that I want to do with my mana. I do this, and then I play Pickaxe on turn 2. I'll be attacking for a lot of damage. Yeah, these were artifact lands, which I did not count. In kind of like doing my math. Alright, so that resolves. I put it on here. Now, do I save my fetch land for next turn? Sure, I'll save my fetch land for next turn. It's a lot of damage right now. But I think... Oh, right. Let's auto-yield to these. Creature gets big. And then I'll play this. And then next turn I get to trigger both of my creatures with the fetch land. I get 6 damage out of the fetch land rather than 4. Or, sorry, that's not correct. Because, like, this triggers this multiple times. But I get another set of activations off it, is really what I'm getting at. And I will probably just Path to Exile something out of the way if my opponent plays a blocker. That's a blocker. Okay. Relic, interesting. I guess that's just a deck filler. Alright. Light Nuisances. Alright. Will my opponent block with a Frogmite? Flash. Do I need to hold this Path to Exile for a different time? Flash, do I even play this fetch land now? There's a lot of questions. I think I have to play the fetch land now. Alright. Oh, the triggers. I don't care which order you go on the stack. You're doing the thing regardless. It becomes a little awkward if my opponent blocks the Hellhound. I'm gonna crash in with these and just kind of like see how my opponent treats blocks. Okay, they're gonna take their block there. That's fine, I think. Do I put the Lurrus in my hand? Or do I just like Path to Exile and hold this fetch land? I think I'll just hold this fetch land. All that good. Just deal 2 here. And try to save for a bigger turn next turn. This Path to Exile is, like, mana use situation is so weird. Especially, like, considering that I'm trying to hold this land. Alright, Urza Saga ticks up. My opponent has the mana to activate it now. There's also a world where I don't actually end up using Path to Exile to my own turn, in which case my mana use for the turn cycle is just nothing. Which I don't love. But c'est la vie, right? Ooh, a Pickaxe. Now that makes things very awkward for my opponent. So I will equip this to my other creature, so that they are both just threatening being absolutely stupid big. Play some land. Holy Landfall, Batman. Yes. Yes. Get swole. Alright, so I will crash in. Okay, so my opponent is just going with 1 blocker. That's fine. They're going to try to make an Urza Saga construct token and then equip it with Shadow Spear. Do I hold this fetch land for another turn? Or do I just take this damage now? I have another land drop for next turn, and I can already get one of those 2 Urza Saga constructs out of the way. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and put some of this damage into play now in case things get weird. I also don't want to like hold this fetch land and then my opponent just Pithing Needles it or something. Alright, I have green. I don't have white yet. I have red already. Let's just grab a Temple Garden. And make the creatures huge once again. These scale up quite quickly. Alright, my opponent goes to 6. And now I have Path to Exile for the creature that gets equipped with Shadow Spear. I will let my opponent just make it now. That's fine. Yeah, sure. I'll exile that land from my graveyard. I don't currently have a Wrenn in 6. That's fine. Ooh, so my opponent is just going to make a second construct token. I thought they were going to go for equipping to try to gain the life. Maybe they have a read on my Path to Exile. That is a Springleaf Drum. Okay, so if I get one of these out of the way, and then I play a regular land. Okay. If I get this out of the way, then I play a regular land. I have 2 triggers. That is 4 damage. It puts my opponent to 2, and then they just equip Shadow Spear. I think I hold this Path to Exile. Yep. All right. A Plated Geopede. I'm. Oh wait, hold on. I can equip this pickaxe now. 3 mana, equip the pickaxe, and then it's 6 damage. Okay, cool. 1, 2, 3. Equip pickaxe. Everything's big. That's up to 6 power now. And Path to Exile the token out of the way. And then I have exact lethal. Whew! And that is the concession from my opponent. GG's. I played game 2 a little bit sloppy, I'm not gonna lie, but we got there. Pickaxe, 6 lands. We doing this? No, we're not doing this. I'll mulligan that one. This doesn't have enough mana. I think if I just miss on my second land drop, I'm dead. Like, I'll just have a 0/1 with a pair of pickaxes attached, and I won't have white mana. I'm gonna go to 5. I kind of believe in the raw power level of this deck. Alright. At this point, I think I just kind of have to keep this hand. Scale up versus second Geopede. Question mark, question mark, question mark. I'm gonna keep the second threat. We'll just play a tapped land and call it a turn. This is definitely an underpowered start, but I don't want to go to below 5. All right, what are we playing against? In Legacy, I see like 2 cards, and I'm like, yep, they're playing this Fringe deck from 2013. And in Modern, it's like, oh, good luck, Phil. You don't know the metagame well enough to know what these decks are. All right, just pass the turn. I don't know that I need to be swinging in with a 1/1 this turn. I think I'm just going to play the Plated Geopede and get that going for long-term prospects. I'm not super hopeful if we are playing against some sort of like slow control deck here. My mulligan to 5 plus my relatively slow start bodes poorly for me. Okay, and it looks like we're probably playing against some blue-white controlled list. All right. Confirmed going in that general direction. Let's go ahead and play the second Brushfire Elemental here. I'm going to need to tap that the other way and see if my opponent wants to counter this. They do not. I'll do tapped Temple Garden. These on the stack and yield to them. Make my precious Landfall boys bigger. This is 6 incoming damage, but I don't necessarily expect it to work well. Although Path to Exile would be kind of hilarious if that happened. All right. They're down to 13. Faithful Mending. Sure. Oh, is this going to be that Persist Reanimator thing? Yep, it is going to be that Persist Reanimator thing. I have like literal 1 out to that card. Are they just going to have it? Yeah, they're just going to have it. Cool, 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 cool. It just yikes. Or no, I have 2 Path to Exiles, I guess. I mean, yeah. This is, I guess I can draw both of my lightning bolts and make that happen, and then attack for 1 with a very sad Plated Geopede. Don't like Spell Pierce me and make me lose all hope for humanity. Okay. God. All right. 1 damage. Thank you, thank you. So, like, there's only 4 copies of Persist. That's not a redundant effect. So I might be able to buy some time, but, you know, there is still the whole, like, rest of the control deck shell there that I have to deal with, so. Okay, yeah. I mean, like, that's bad enough, right? Yeah. That is just a huge tempo blow for me. Yeah, I mean, like, I'll play out some critters. I'm in bad shape. I'm in very bad shape. Okay, that's fine. All right. And then I'll throw these in there. They kept whatever card they thought with Consider, so that's not great for me. All right. More Faithful Mending. Dig is scary. Dig gets my opponent closer to, another persist that just basically kills me on the spot. Alright. That's a pickaxe. Not exactly doing great work right now without any lands here. I guess I just attack my opponent for 1. Like, keeping the Teferi in check seems less good than potentially just playing towards my opponent randomly dying. Alright, that's 18. And let's put Lurrus into my hand. My opponent's deck plays counterspells, so I don't necessarily know that it's going to resolve. Even if it does resolve, I also don't necessarily just have the mana to get stuff back immediately, because I just have 2 drops in there. Multiple Faithful Mendings in the graveyard now. Alright, Fatal Push. That's bad. That's obvious. My opponent's also just getting into the range where they can just... Oh no, it's an 8. I guess they're still pretty far away from just hard casting one of those. I mean, show me your counterspell. Some of the other stuff can do cool things with haste later, but I think I'm just gonna... Nope, I'm not just gonna eat a counterspell there. I could just eat a removal spell instead. Or my opponent could bounce it with Teferi and lose the Teferi. Like, they've... Oh, right. Sorcery Speed Prismatic Ending. Ugh. Yeah, I am in bad shape. That's a persist that they get to do at instant speed. Alright. We're done. Next game. What do we have for this deck? A couple of Soul Guide Lanterns. That's probably it. I'll probably play the Path to Exile. I don't think I want any of the rest of that. Yeah. These are just the slowest thing in my deck. And from there, maybe I go and junk like a pump spell or 2, just because my opponent has so much removal. Like maybe do something like that and kind of split the difference between the cheap stuff and the expensive stuff a bit. Okay, this is a lot of damage relatively quickly. I will keep this hand. We'll lead on Steppe Lynx here, because this is both white and green mana. So if I want, I can go this into Pickaxe, play Pickaxe, attack next turn. There's also a world where I just want to play Wrenn and 6 next turn. Oh, I think let's just get as many critters into play as I can. Let's make my opponent have like the Fatal Push or equivalent, or just branch them on damage this turn. Alright. It's equipped. Play my fetch land. Represent approximately 1 billion damage. Alright. Seems like they do have a Fatal Push. Alright, there's a shock for the Hollowed Fountain. Oh, it could be a Path to Exile instead. Send it sideways. Alright, I'll fetch. I'll fetch and shock. What do I want here? I have green-red already. I guess I want white-white long term. Maybe Sacred Foundry? Sure. Alright. So I will get potentially more damage out of this, although I kind of just expect to get Path to Exile here. Alright, will I get 8 damage? Oh, damn, I do get 8 damage. I love it. I love it, love it, love it, love it. Guess I'll play a Hellhound. Okay, my opponent is considering. We'll see if they randomly have an Archon as their top card and then persist me, and I just fucking lose my shit. Quit Magic forever. Alright. Okay. I mean, that sponges up a lot of damage. Ooh, a Lightning Bolt is totally legit here. I will go red, green for Wrenn and 6. I'm going to plus and grab this land back, because that's worth 4 damage this turn. I'll play said land. You're living your best life, Pickaxe. You're living your best life. So now let's try to send in for another 4. A Fatal Push can still happen. Fatal Push is happening. That's fine. The second main phase, I think I just, like, continue to abuse my life total here. Actually, maybe I don't need to. I can just grab a Plains. I don't need green for any card in this deck. Yeah. Alright, good job, Pickaxe. Alright, so I'll play my Lynx. So my opponent is very close to just dead from burn. Like, Wrenn and 6 can minus for 1 damage, and I have a lightning bolt in hand. Okay, never mind. That definitely helps. That's an Archon. There is now a sense of immediacy. I think it's fine, though. Let's plus return this fetch land. Again, just trying to maximize damage with my cards. Equip this. And then this is just an absurd amount of damage. Yield to these. Turn this sideways. No blocks. Fetch again. I just need something that produces red. A regular old mountain is fine. Re-trigger these. That's 8 damage. And 8 plus 3 is dead, unless my opponent has a Spell Pierce effect. Got him. I think I more or less still like how I'm boarded. I could try to board the other Atarka's command back in on the draw as another way to, like, stop Faithful Mending life gain, but I don't know that I want to mess around with that. Hand looks great. I'd like to draw more land with this hand, honestly. A little awkward that if I play Temple Garden on 1, I can't play double Hellhound on turn 2. My opponent has mulligan to 5, by the way. I guess they know that they either need to combo off quickly or be able to stop multiple 1-drops. Okay, they kept on 5. Alright, just a delta and pass. Okay. Now, I can sequence this in a way where I can play 2 Hellhounds on turn 2. Is that what I want to do? This is a surprisingly difficult decision. If it wasn't a fetch land, I would 100% want to curve out into double Hellhound on turn 2. Yeah, I think I'll go by properties of mana efficiency here over trying to absolutely maximize my damage. I'll shock with the Sacred Foundry. Oh, actually, I'll just play Hellhound on 1 and then Hellhound Steppe Lynx on 2. Now that I have this Sacred Foundry. Okay, are you just considering? Nope, just tapped land. That's fine too. Alright, there's a shock. That's probably a Faithful Mending. I'm probably just playing double 1-drop creature this turn. I think I'm just going to do that off of Temple Garden. Yeah, I'm going to do that off of Temple Garden and just take 2 damage here with my 1-drop. And then if I draw a land next turn, things can get kind of gross. So there's a 1-drop. There's a 1-drop. This is already 12 damage, not counting the Atarka's Command and Lightning Bolt that's in my hand. My opponent's not dead next turn, but... Alright, did you mold a 5 and find the Persist plus Archon? Yeah. Yeah. So... how much damage am I doing? This is 3 damage to an opponent? It is. Well, we can always just try to kill that Archon in combat, right? Yeah, we can just try to kill that in combat. Or maybe just kill my opponent. I don't know, I haven't done the math yet. Play land. Creatures get bigger. Attack in. Okay, that's no blocks. Is my opponent dead? If I cast an Atarka's Command, I'll deal 3 damage to each opponent and put a land into play. This and this. I Wooded Foothills. These become 4/4s. I fetch. Doesn't matter what land I grab, just that it's a land. I'll make it a green one. Will not pay the life. These become 6/6, so this is 12 damage. What's my opponent to 5? I Lightning Bolt now? This thing almost certainly attacks, right? I guess I'm going to Lightning Bolt now before actual factual counterspell is up. My opponent's at 2. Alright, there is a Thought Scour. Alright, the Archon attacks. I sacrifice one of these. My opponent goes to 5, which is a very inconvenient number because then a fetch land doesn't kill. I'm at 3. Okay, that flashback Faithful Mending, I think, means the only thing I can do is draw like a Path to Exile and get that thing out of the way. Alright, Full Guide Lantern. So I'll play it, I'll crack it, and then I will draw Path to Exile. Crack. It does another Soul Guide Lantern. At that point, a land is not lethal anymore. I have no outs. I can't play a path that I draw. GG's. That's a little disappointing. We were so close. All right, what is this? Round 3. I've kept my opening hand here. It's a little awkward because I have to fetch a white producing land to play Steppe Lynx on turn 1 here. But I think it's fine overall. I also am going to shock for a Temple Garden so that I can play Brushfire Elemental off of these 2 lands next turn without having to shock for Stomping Ground. All right. This is probably going to be like some Shardless Agent. I just lose the game instantly bullshit, and I'm going to be sad. It's okay. I am emotionally prepared for it, but I still might be a little bit sad. I have an epic shit ton of damage next turn. I don't know how much it is. It's a lot. But I get to trigger Landfall 3 different times. Maybe 4 if we draw like a fetch land or something. Crashing Footfalls is suspended. Shardless Agent bullshit confirmed. Do I have to deal with it this turn? There some sort of spirit. Man. I guess I want to play the one that gets to attack this turn. Oh, that's super sad. Like, the amount of damage that my opponent just saved by having fire is absolutely absurd. I am not worried about winning the game before that stupid thing comes out of play. It's when my opponent just plays a Shardless Agent or something that stuff gets scary. That's all fine. Oh, suspending another one. So this Brushfire Elemental is currently unblockable, essentially. And do these lands enter tapped? They do enter tapped. Do I just want to scale up this turn? Yeah, maybe I'll just play to Geopede and scale up this turn and then kind of go for a lethal next turn. These are still pretty far away, right? Yeah. Yeah. Let's do that. Scale up. 6 damage. 6 unblockable damage at that. Okay. I do successfully get the damage. The rhinos cometh. Oh my god, fuck this fire. My disappointment is endless. My sorrow unimaginable. I have to kill my opponent next turn. This is an instant. Huh. Alright, I do the thing. I get to lightning bolt my opponent to 3. Nothing here gives trample, right? No, nothing here gives trample. Just +1/+1. So I don't want to block. I'll just take that too. Alright, I go to 13. Let's just draw a lightning bolt, huh? Let's just draw a lightning bolt. Can't gain life, 3 damage to each opponent. Fire you for a 3rd time. Fuck. Alright, they are at 3. I can attack in. And my opponent gets rhinos. I think I just have to set up to try and deal with the rhinos next turn. And just tilt the fuck off if the 3rd fire happens. Oh my god, fire is so good against this deck. Oh, well. There we go. The first set of rhinos wasn't that scary. However, the second set of rhinos that is immediately able to attack, that, on the other hand, is fucking terrifying. Oh, more rhinos. Sure. Yeah. We might be in a world where I just need to draw a lightning bolt. These rhinos trample, so I can't successfully chump block them either. 4, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, we'll take that and hope that my opponent doesn't have a lightning bolt. I go to 2. I guess it can also be fire for poetic justice. Don't do it. Ah, damn it. Fire does everything. Yeah. I had played around fire by chump blocking this. I would have drawn Atarka's command and killed my opponent. Alright. I don't have anything random like a Chalice of the Void here, huh? I am just looking to get my opponent dead as quickly as possible. I think I'm gonna board in this lightning bolt. This just felt too slow. Like, once my opponent is threatening rhinos, that's horrifying. I think I'm gonna board out both of those and board in one more path. Alright. let's see what we're working with this time around. Hellhounds and some lands. Yep, that's fine. I think I can just lead on basic mountain. All right, my opponent mulliganed once. Let's just go mountain hellhound go. Then I can play second hellhound into fetch or just sacred foundry, kind of depending on what things look like here. There is a reason to have fetched on turn 1, but that would have cost me damage in a different way. Fire is just disgusting. There's not too much I can do about that. Like, I can sit here and, like, play conservatively around it all game. But then I, like, never get this pickaxe into play. Fuck it. I think if my opponent has fire, they will find a spot to use it where it is devastating. I'm just going to do it, take my damage this turn, and get this axe equipped. Temple Garden? Yeah. Pickaxe. Move it here. Crash in. I think the world where I win this game most of the time is the world where they do not have fire right here. Down to 14. Sure. Concede. Yeah, more or less dead. Like, if I don't equip that pickaxe and I just kind of, like, sit on my lands all game instead of, like, actually trying to get my opponent dead, I think they just beat me when they get to 3 mana and do the whole Violent Outburst or Shardless Agent thing. Alright. Yeah. I will do my 3 mana for Lurrus. I will recast this Hellhound. Already done a billion damage to myself. Well, let's see if my opponent makes 2 rhinos and I more or less lose the game. There's a fetch for it. Yep. And there's the rhinos. I can kill 1. Actually, if there's not more from my opponent... Oh, just another fire. Cool. Yeah, so I could have played around it the first time and then they just would have cast another one. Ugh. Alright. Fine. It's fine. So 100% just path one of those out of the way. I think I just go ahead and equip this. I will do my landfall thing. Alright, they didn't have yet another fire. That's good. I'll fetch. Grab a basic forest. Re-trigger the landfall. And scale this up. And that's a kill. Okay. Cool. We won through double fire. Yep. No random chalices or anything, so we'll just continue as is. Chalice of the Void is definitely a card that could be worth considering for this sideboard, because it would hit, like, when played on 0, it hits both like the rhinos and the red thing that gets rid of all your permanents and turns them into new permanents, that thing, and Living End as well. That seems like a solid option for the sideboard. Okay, this is a single red mana. This is not going to do it. I'm going to mulligan this one. Opponent also takes a mulligan. This has no creature, so this is not going to be acceptable. We are unfortunately down to 5. On 5, I will keep this, and I probably just have to pitch the removal spells and just keep my critters. I am notably missing white mana here. Alright. So I will shock, and then I'll cast my Hellhound. I'll get Hellhound into either Brushfire Elemental or Geopede, kind of depending on what I'm feeling. Haste potentially matters. Not sure which one I want to do. Yep, just kill me. Yep. Fire is fucking rough. Since I lost that, I think I am just going to grab a Geopede here. And we'll see if my opponent makes rhinos. Alright, that's a bad sign. I mean, do I play like they have nothing? I probably don't play like they have nothing. They almost certainly have it. I'm going to play another plated Geopede and then done on taking 8 damage. Alright, so here it is. Alright. It is not looking good for the home team here. Oh my god. That was there in addition to just the fire ices. Unseed. GG's. Okay, this will be round 4. I'll keep this hand. I have 2 aggressive creatures to start things off with, and a decent number of land drops. I think I'm good with that overall. And we might be playing against some sort of prowess or Murktide Regent sort of deck. Some sort of expressive iteration thing based on what I'm seeing so far. I'm not 100% familiar with where Modern is at, kind of in terms of some of these threats, but... Ooh, I gotta think about this now. Like, do I want to be attacking with the Brushfire on 2? I think I want to be attacking with the Brushfire on 3. I don't want to play this Plains, because if I play the Plains, I can't play the Brushfire on 3 and then do a fetch land in that same turn. I think I'm just gonna take the 2 damage here. I can choose to just fetch a mountain with this Wooded Foothills, though we'll have to see. Okay, just another bobble. No big deal. Again, definitely getting the graveyard filling vibes. Definitely happy that my opponent has, like, not played a threat here. That probably means that my creature is about to die in combat, but that's kind of whatever. This will be a cool finisher. Alright. I'll play my land. I think... Do I want to try to play around a Lightning Bolt? I could just, like, attack in for 2. I guess I'll see if my opponent does anything. If they had a Lightning Bolt, they would have just already Lightning Bolted, right? They would have just done that on their turn. Yeah. Like, I could just get bolted right here. Nope. Okay. Well, I guess I can still do it with the trigger on the stack. Is Basic Mountain fine? I still have white. Yeah. Basic Mountain is fine. Okay. Alright, I do just get the full 4 damage. I will play my Geopede. Like, am I gonna get a counterspell now? What the fuck do you have going on over there? Like, am I just gonna die to a combo next turn or something? Because this is 2 turns of no interaction of any kind. Alright, now there's a move. Nope, no move. Okay. Alright. Okay. Some sort of cryptic command sort of thing? Okay, you're just gonna gain control of one of my things. Sure. Alright, so we are playing against a control deck. That's fine. So, this thing can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less, so my coast is clear to just do that. Now I'll get multiple landfall triggers here, buffing my creatures. I'll then fetch something that gives me green. I guess green-red, I think it's fine to just do this. Take 2 more sets of triggers here. Go for my pickaxe. Put that to my Brushfire Elemental. Actually, maybe it was just better to just Lightning Bolt here. Yeah, that would have been worth 5 damage instead of, like, the setup for the future. Although, the Dire Strain Rampage is just, like, super lethal next turn with this equipped. Alright. Yeah, it's like, do I save the Lightning Bolt to go to the face, or do I set this up to be just absolutely more devastating? This expressive iteration is really slow. Although I guess if it finds a Lightning Bolt, it's pretty good. Okay, that's just a Misty Rainforest. Alright, immediate fetch. Or an island. Oh. Yeah, you can dash that. It does not seem super potent right now. So I guess, again, it's just all about Lightning Bolt right now. Yeah, so I can just Lightning Bolt that out of the way. And then I just have very, very much lethal. Okay. Yeah. 3 sets of landfall triggers. That feels pretty good. I guess I'll just path it out of the way. This is super lethal. Path. Oh, I guess I don't even need to do anything more. Alright, my opponent conceded before I made the numbers bigger. I guess I'm good with that. I am playing against a control deck of some kind. I've seen Ragavan. I'm going to assume that this just has the same shit that the Legacy version does, like Ragavans, Dragon Rage Channelers, maybe Murktide Regents, that sort of stuff. I probably want some number of these just to get early Ragavans out of the way. How do I feel about these? I guess my opponent going to have a utility land that I need to blow up. The flashback's kind of interesting, honestly. I do have 8 basics, so I can realistically flash it back and get that oomph. Maybe a couple pickaxes go out. They're a little expensive to re-equip. Give me a couple more, just like the tiniest bit more reach and a couple more answers to early creatures. I think I'm good with that. Unsure if pickaxe is better or worse than just a scale up. Pickaxe is a little awkward here with the lands that I have, but I am going to keep this hand. Further land drops would be cool. Okay, my opponent took 1 mulligan here. Alright, sure, do your thing. Alright, path not the best right now, but also, like, totally unacceptable draw. Okay, yep. Unholy Heat. That card's playable in Legacy and great in Modern. Alright. Is it a shock? Not a shock. Just playing it tapped. Colors are a little awkward here. Play the Lynx and the Pickaxe, or I can just play the Geopede. If I just play the Geopede, I can't get Landfall off of the Skyclave next turn. I think I'll just play the Geopede. See if my opponent has another just removal spell for it. Bitter? Thought Scour. Sure. I mean, I guess the good news is I have an answer for an early Murktide. Alright. So that's 5 cards in graveyard. Like, we could be to Murktide Regent time already. Seems like yes. Yes, we are. So that's a 7/7. I need to get that out of the way. I think I want to Path to Exile around a Spell Pierce. I have some other cuter lines that I could do, but I think I want to play around a Spell Pierce. I don't know if it's something that I need to play around, but I want to play around it. This is a Temple Garden. I need green, and the white for Lurrus could be relevant here. Alright, I'll go ahead and do this. Let's start by attempting Path to Exile. Okay, success. Alright, now do I want to play another threat, or do I just want to Atarka's Command and get in while the getting is good? This thing is out of Lightning Bolt range currently. I think I want to try to make the Atarka's Command worth 5 damage next turn, using it as an Anthem. Well, I guess if I... Yeah, I will probably get more out of this Atarka's Command by waiting a turn. I'll hit in for my 5. Opponent goes to 14. Then I'll play this, and the next turn I have Pickaxe. Probably put it here in case of the Archmage's Charm that would steal my Lynx as a blocker. Okay. That's fine. Okay, that's a land. No big deal. Okay, so in terms of sequencing, we'll do this. I guess I don't have access to double green, huh? Yeah, so I can't actually Atarka's Command this turn. That's okay. I mean, this is the cost of playing a bunch of basics, right? Now I'll bolt this out of the way. Oh, it's another counterspell. Okay, whatever they have on top, they like it. I'll attempt to hit in for my 5. I assume is happening. Ooh, opponent is taking a block. That is respect. That also means that their top card must be something hot. Like, I must be dealing with some sort of, like, Murktide Regent level card here. Like, they left it on top twice. Oh, they just left an Unholy Heat on top. Sure. Okay. I probably just take damage off of this here. Alright, so I want 3 damage to each opponent and make my creatures larger. This is only worth 4 damage here. It's not the best. But I've just got to take it. My opponent has a lot of top decks that start swinging things in their favor. Puts my opponent to 8. Land will just kill my opponent, though, right? Like a fetch land? Yeah, a fetch land kills my opponent. Oh, no. Okay, sure. That's obviously quite good here, because blockers are just insane. So I'll get a 15, and my opponent will do the Ragavan thing. Yep. I mean, that is just a blocker that gets in the way of my stuff and keeps me from doing damage. Okay, and they've taken it. Ragavan bounces back to hand. So I can use this scale up here if I want. And it will force a block. I don't know if that's actually good. Like, will my opponent go aggro with this? Probably not. I could force the block and then just grab Lurrus. That's probably fine. Send it in. Yep, my opponent takes the obligatory block. That's, you know, effectively 6 life gained off of a Ragavan trigger. Pretty good for a 1-drop. Okay. Just a bauble from my opponent. Is nice for me. With this double mountain here, I'm hurting in that I can't like play a pickaxe and a Lurrus in the same turn cycle or something like that. I guess with the bauble, they get to like look at my top card and then see if they want to like Ragavan dash remove it. That's sort of interesting, right? Yep. All right, so here comes Ragavan to steal my stuff. Okay, it is nothing. Well, I mean, I guess it was a land, so like it's not nothing, you know. Like drawing lands is fantastic for me at this point. My mana is so incredibly awkward here. Like, I can play this Lurrus, and then I can't play anything from the graveyard immediately. You get to cast permanents, you can't just play any card from your graveyard. So, like, I'll try. But there's a world where this just eats a counterspell or an Unholy Heat or something. I'm trying to go wide of my opponent here to finish them off. Yep, and because I don't have access to triple white, I can't just, like, cast one of these things from the graveyard. I don't have a 5th mana, so I can't just, like, jam a plated Geopede here. Okay, so we dodged an end-step lightning bolt or equivalent. That's nice. Yeah, I also didn't have access to white, green to just replay a pickaxe from graveyard. An expressive iteration? No, it's that dashed Ragavan again. I probably have to just trade with this Ragavan. Maybe that's not true. Yeah, maybe that's not true. The worlds where my opponent doesn't hit like a path or a lightning bolt off the top of my deck are pretty fine. Like, I will get approximately the same amount of value that my opponent gets. I do kind of want these lands that they keep randomly exiling, though. They're worth a lot of damage for me. Hey, it's a land. Cool. So I will cast this creature with haste. Here we go, Brushfire. Take the first one of these. Alright, and that is the concession there. I believe we're up to 2-2 now? We are up to 2-2. Alright, final round. I have one creature here, so if it dies, it sucks. But holy shit, does this hand produce a lot of damage off of that one creature. So I want to play Temple Garden on 1. Yes. Play this Lynx. Then turn 2, I have Skyclave Pickaxe into Scale Up. So what, I'll have 14 damage? That's pretty insane. Don't do it, I have so much to live for. Yeah, I don't mind that so much. Like, obviously that's good because they get to take this pickaxe or the scale up from my hand. One of the scales up. But, it is still a lot of damage. And it's way better than my Deuter just getting lightning bolted. The pickaxe is only worth 4 damage. Like, a plus 4 damage in this turn cycle. The scale up is worth plus 6 damage. But the pickaxe represents more damage over time. And I can't cast both scale-ups effectively in the same turn, so I expect my opponent to take the pickaxe here. Alright, the Lynx is big. The Lynx is even bigger. We fetch one more time, maybe getting a Stomping Ground. I have white, that will give me green, and red. Yeah, sounds good. 10 damage on turn 2. We will try to repeat that and kill my opponent next turn. Although, my opponent's probably playing something highly interactive like Jund, after starting off on, like, those 2 cards. Okay. Oh, they are ghost quartering themselves for mana fixing here, so they can get green mana. Oh, fuck me. That's rough. Like, I have a Lurrus, so I can, like, try to grind through this. Yeah, but that's a little annoying, I'm not gonna lie. Don't take my cat with discard. I will be sad. If I don't lose Lurrus to discard, I've got some scary stuff coming down the pipe. Alright, so that's replaying the Blackcleave Cliffs. That's fine. Tarmogoyf is much less fine. So let's play my Lurrus. Play a land. Play a creature. Now, this creature is just going to die to the Wrenn 6, but I get to do this sort of thing every turn. Eventually, I will get through that Tarmogoyf, kill the Wrenn 6. Oh, never mind. I've got a lot harder. I'm going to take 5 here from that Tarmogoyf. That Wrenn 6 has generated just absolutely so much value already. And, like, I'm going to play this play to Geopede into a Wrenn 6. How am I beating this now that the Lurrus is gone? I think I just don't. I have to get, like, my own Wrenn 6 or a Brushfire Elemental. I think I play nothing this turn. That's a feel bad. Okay, opponent's going for an end of turn. They'll just fetch a land. They can start Ghost Quartering me if they want. I've got 2 Lightning Bolts that I can rip to just kill this Lurrus outright. The Wrenn 6 can also just minus at my face, honestly. Because that puts me dead in 2 turns, right? Wrenn minus puts me to 6. Wrenn minus the next turn puts me to 5. Also grows the Tarmogoyf further. Okay, they're not going for it, but it is something you can do. Yeah, that's just another way to get lethal next turn. I think I'm just dead here. I think I was fine against spot removal, but like Wrenn just being the monster that it is. Yeah, so I can junk the Tarmogoyf and then still kind of be in the same position that I'm in. I might need to play the play to Geopede so that my opponent minuses on it. Or I can do something like this, where I play the Geopede, I play a fetch land and just hold it in play. And then I'll minus, or sorry, not minus, I will path the Tarmogoyf to keep myself from taking that hit. And I can try to force my fetch land. Sorry, I probably didn't say that well. And I can, if my opponent minuses, I just use this fetch land on plated Geopede. Sure. Alright. Assassins. God damn it. Alright, I don't think I have any real, well, not actually true, is it? I do still have, like, 1 out. And draw a Brushfire Elemental and have my opponent attack all out here. Okay, my opponent is attacking all out, which means I can path this, draw Brushfire Elemental, and then if I draw Brushfire Elemental, I scale it up, it has haste, I fetch, my opponent's dead. Oh, this would be hype as fuck. Yep. Okay, alright, I guess I can't fetch anymore. But I still have lethal. If I draw Brushfire Elemental, I don't. An honorable death to my own fetch land. What do we have for Jund? I want a Lightning Bolt and probably a Path to Exile to take my opponent's creatures out of the way. The Soul Guide Lantern does not exile all graveyards like Relic of Progenitus does, so it's not actually helping me all that much with the Tarmogoyfs. I also don't know that, like, this is actually good enough to want to, like, play versus something like Wrenn 6. Like, yes, it stops fetch land recursion and stuff like that. But this is a card that is not contributing to my opponent dying. I can recycle it with Lurrus, but that's, like, probably worse than just recycling critters. Just got the expensive stuff. Like, the thing about Dire Strain Rampage here, though, is that my opponent realistically might be playing some man lands that, like, this could have real utility against. I don't know. I kind of just want to get stuff out of the way and kill my opponent as quickly as possible. I think I'm going to cut him. All right, what are we looking at? I don't have a creature. I have a Wrenn 6. Is that good? Probably not good, because, like, this is just, like, not going to fare well against my opponent just, like, slamming a Tarmogoyf or something like that on the table. I think I just need to keep something with a threat. This has a threat. I will keep it accordingly. I think I'll just put a basic back into my deck here. I'm not super stoked about this hand. It has a lot of turn 2 damage again, but like my opponent's turn 1 plays, Thoughtseize, Inquisition, or Lightning Bolt are all going to disrupt what I have going on here. So, which one is it? Alright, still ambiguous. Could be either a discard spell or a bolt. Okay, there goes my scale up in all likelihood. Unless my opponent just has the Tarmogoyf for turn 2. Oh, well, that's pretty dope. Just drawing another one of those so I get this damage in is hot. Alright, do that. Do this. Yield to that. Fetch. It doesn't matter as long as I get a land that produces white here. Do I want red, red, or green, green more? It does not really matter too much. I'll just take the white, I think. Well, if I take the red, I have all my different lands available to me. Sure, I'll do that. Alright, 10 damage. Get him. Opponent's down to 7. I have a blocker covered. I unfortunately can't really do anything about, like, the myriad of removal spells that could come in this turn, including this fucker. Ugh, I don't miss this. Can tell you that, honestly. I absolutely do not miss playing against this card while playing little creature decks. Now my opponent gets to keep hitting their land drops. They've got my my recursion from my graveyard covered. Let's rip a lightning bolt. Rip a lightning bolt, play a Lurrus. What is this? Oh god. Well, I pretty much have to get rid of the path. That's rough though. That's really rough. That's both my cards covered. Yeah, I can't beat this. I have to just draw direct burn for the rest. I have Brushfire Elemental, 3 Lightning Bolts, 3 Atarka's Commands. I think I am going to play everything out here. The reason why is that if I play all of this out, it forces my opponent's Planeswalkers in a certain direction. So for example, if my opponent minuses Wrenn here and edicts here, that ties up both of these. I get to keep his fetch land in hand, and then I can draw Brushfire Elemental, play fetch land, have lethal. That's what I'm playing towards. Obviously, if my opponent like has another piece of removal in hand or something like that, things start to get bad quickly. And my opponent can also just like slam a large threat like a Tarmogoyf or a 2-for-1 card like a Bloodbraid Elf, and things will get pretty bad. Shit. Alright. So they went for a discard. That means that they have some removal spell in hand that they'll use on Lurrus. And we'll get a Wrenn ping here. So my Brushfire Elemental is no longer lethal. Okay, yep, there's a bolt. That's bad. I mean, but we clutched out another. Alright, I will just lose that. Scale up to Lily. I'm dead in approximately 2 turns, just by the way. The Wrenn very well might just ping me to death here. We'll see. My opponent might just keep making land drops. Like, they can just cycle Nurturing Peatland plus Wrenn, replay Nurturing Peatland, start grinding value that way. I'm so far behind in terms of value here. I think I need to rip back-to-back burn spells at this point. Yep, we're done. Pack it in, throw in the towel. I am unwilling to concede because, like, I can still just... No, I guess at this point I don't have any one card that can do 4 damage on its own. Yeah, I don't have 2 draw steps because my opponent's not going to let me chump block. Oh, if this is a Bloodbraid, I am just immediately dead to that from the haste damage. Concede? Concede. Okay. Overall thoughts on the deck list. Not bad, but it's lacking a little something. So in the Legacy version of this deck list, we had the Invigorate Berserk combo as our way to just like get a 2-card kill kind of from nothing. I feel like this modern version is missing that. So kind of what I want to do is remove these Dire Strain Rampages. Kind of like I thought in the intro, they're a little bit overcosted, and a lot of times the game is decided before these actually come around. So I would like to remove these and maybe some number of Atarka's Commands even, and play some number of Assault Strobe, which is a 1 red mana sorcery that gives your creatures double strike. I feel like that just gives you the, like, huge out-of-the-gate starts that a deck like this wants. I also think in game number 1, you want 4 Lightning Bolts. So I think what I would be looking to do is play 4 Lightning Bolts game 1. I would look to maybe cut 2 of these or 4 copies of Assault Strobes, and that just gives you more openers like Lynx or Hellhound into Scale Up or Pickaxe plus Assault Strobe, where you just get these huge bursts of early damage. And I think if you lose a couple of Atarka's Commands, but you gain a couple more game 1 Lightning Bolts, those 2 things balance out. The thing about the Atarka's Command is that in the best worlds where you get to like sneak an extra land in, these things are worth a ton of damage. But a lot of times, like, as we saw, like, once we were hellbent, This is just a lightning bolt that costs an extra mana, and sometimes you can get a touch more out of it than that. So that means we'd also make some small changes to the sideboard. We would probably need to replace this lightning bolt with a path, and then I don't know, maybe you need a third path in the 75 to get rid of things like Tarmogoyfs and Murktide regions and stuff like that that won't just die to bolt. So maybe you go down like one Soul Guide Lantern, or maybe you don't need 4 pieces of Artifact Hate. Maybe you drop down like one Wear Tear or one Smash to Smithereens for another path to exile. But I think the general idea here is pretty good. I wish we had more games where we got to just like play a Wrenn and 6, like plus it, fetch land, like that sort of thing, and grind out. But the reality was the games we won were landslides that were over by turn 4. And the games we lost, my opponents just stabilized, and then I was just kind of like playing cards off the top of the deck. Lurrus helped to bridge that gap a little bit, but this was a fun league. I hope you all enjoyed. If you're new here, please consider subscribing for Legacy, Modern, and Vintage content on the regular. And if you've made it this far in the video, throw me a like before you go. It's the easiest way to support my content for free. Have a great rest of the day. See ya!